What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to this episode of English Turks, where I review your favorite Turkish series with and without English subtitles. And today we are talking about Uyanis Büyük Selcuklu. Guys, this show is so difficult to pronounce, but it is a really good show. If you've already watched my weekly update, you already know that the reason why I started watching the show is because of the lead actor in this series, and that happens to be Bugra Gulsoy, and I know him from watching Love Again. He played Fatih, and so I was looking at the cover of this and thought to myself, I just want to watch it, see if it's something I might be interested in, and boy, it is. It is something I love, okay? I am a fan of Vikings, which I watch it, Vikings, The Last Kingdom. I watch all those series, and so this gives me that Vikings feel. I feel like they're the Turkish Vikings of their time. But this is talking about the story of Sultan Melikşah, which is a real sultan that lived in the history of Turkey and did a lot of conquering of lands and things like that. And so this is telling his story, but of course they have taken creative license and, you know, did stuff to make dramatic effect, but majority of the main themes of the story are true, which is the battles and things like that. And so knowing that, if you've read a little bit about Melikşah's story, you'll know how he ends up dying and how other people in his story end up dying. And so there's some confusion there, but that gives you like a platform to walk with and just trying to figure out how long this story might last. But it's a really good show and it has great ratings, so I'm sure a lot of people in Turkey are watching it. And a great thing about it is it doesn't just appeal to the female audience, it definitely appeals to a male audience, so that will give them a big oomph. There have been some other history-based Turkish series out there that have done really well, that have lasted several seasons, and so I have no fear that this show is gonna last a while. And plus, you know, what I watch, Vikings and The Last Kingdom, they have many seasons as well. So historic TV shows really do well in ratings, and so this show definitely holds up to its plate. Now, before I get into the entire story, I just want to note some other actors in there that I do know. And one of the first ones is Erdem Akakşe, which I'm sure I will pronounce everyone's name wrong in this, but I know him from Beni Boyla Sev. He played Haluk Abi, and he was just like this frumpy, you know, guy that was walking around the college campus and helped out everyone. And so when I saw him, I got really excited. In this series, he plays Behram, which I don't know, because right now we're at 6 episodes, and so far in the 6th episode there are things that are happening. He's not on the good side of this, so he's not on Melikşah's side, if you want to know, but I still love him as an actor, and so I was so excited to see him in this. And I also saw Ali Gozuşurin. Sorry. I know him from Her Yerde Sen. He played Ibrahim. He was basically the best friend of the female lead, and then he became friends with everybody in the series and stuff like that. So yeah, in this he plays Melikşah's son, Muhammed Tapar. So that's who he plays in this series. And then also Ekin Kokş, I don't know. I'm saying the name wrong. It's okay. He plays Ahmet Sencar, and this is interesting because he is basically like a second lead. If you look at the cover of this show, the leads of the show are these two men. Because basically, I'm going to give you a general outline of the story, okay? So Melikşah is at war with his father. They're fighting this battle, right? And they basically winning. They won the battle, but through some trickery, his father gets killed and he ends up getting killed. So he finds out that his wife Seferi, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but she's a real person from history. She is about to give birth to his second son. And so as he realizes that, you know, she's about to give birth, he's dealing with his father's death, he runs to go and see his wife. But as he reaches there, his vizier, which was his father's vizier, which is called Hassan Saba, that's his name, he tells him that his wife is dead and that they're gonna have to protect the son because his wife was basically kicked out of the community, and so she was like not allowed to come back, and she was like not welcomed, I guess. And so the vizier tells him, listen, now that your father's dead, you are going to have to take over as sultan, but people are going to be fighting for your spot, and they're going to use your wife and your child against you. So we have to keep them in hiding. Now, she did already have a son prior to this baby that we see in the beginning, and that son is already at the palace and is in safe hands, but no one knows that she has had another baby, and this baby puts him in a vulnerable position. So the vizier says, listen, your wife's dead, but we can't let you take the baby. You're gonna have to let the baby stay in hiding so that they can't use this baby against you, and that you can claim your rightful place on the throne, and they can't use this weakness against you. And so he ends up agreeing, and they grow up separately from each other. He grows into his role as a sultan. He was very young at the time, 17, and his son grows up into a man. And so now the story picks up 20 years later. He still doesn't know who his son is, but the vizier did tell the baby, who is now a grown man, that his father is the sultan. He told him at a young age. And so basically the story is dealing with their adventures, basically continually conquering lands, and Sanjar, you know, operating as this soldier in his, you know, trying to protect his father, and his father doesn't know who he is, and at the same time his mother's not dead. And so that's like the real crazy part about this. So, you know, when it comes to royalty in any aspect, there's always people behind the scenes doing things for their own benefit that can either positively or negatively affect the person sitting on the throne. And that is what the show is about. There's a lot of fighting scenes and war. And I think what really makes the show really good is that you can connect to the story. There are two other disease that aired prior to this one, also talking about different people in the growth of this empire, and basically those stories I struggle to keep up with. I can't fall in love with them, but this one I love, and I think you guys would love it too. I'm trying not to say too much about it so that you can have the opportunity to go and watch it, and you probably end up falling in love with it as much as I did. Now I'm in love with Ekin Koç, because the C has an asterisk. So Ekin Koç, I'm in love with him. I think he's a great actor. He gives me the feels of The Last Kingdom. He gives me that feel of Vikings, you know. He is Bjorn Ironside, and you know how Bjorn Ironside, we all love Bjorn Ironside, and so that's the feel that he gives me. He gives me that Bjorn Ironside feel, like nothing can happen to him. Well, something can happen to him. At this point, from where we are in the season, it seems like something has happened to him, but I don't know. And then in The Last Kingdom, he gives me that Utrecht feel, you know? Like he always has a good plan in mind. So I think it's a great show. If you haven't started watching it, you should watch it. If you would just Google search and look up the title of the show with English subtitles, I'm sure you can find where you can watch it. They've already aired 6 episodes. The 7th episode airs on Monday, and so I think every Monday that's when the episodes air, and then you get your English translations, and then you get to watch it. Remind you that the episodes are 2 hours long each. They are. Yeah, but that's the best part about it. I feel like watching a movie every single time. I love this show. I know you guys will love this show. Let me know if you've already started watching this show, what you guys think in the comments. And if you haven't done so yet, smash that like button because you know it helps the YouTube algorithm, and click that subscribe button and the bell button so you can get notified every time I post a video. And I'll talk to you guys in my next